What's up guys, welcome back to another video. I've got something a little bit different today. I put up a Q&A the other day on my Instagram and actually had a couple questions about kind of color grading video and like what programs I use and that kind of thing. And I answered that I use Lightroom and people were kind of curious about how I did that. So we're gonna dive into how I use that, why I use it, and why I think it's super useful. So there's a couple reasons why I use Lightroom as opposed to like a Final Cut Pro or Premiere or anything like that. This computer, even though it's a MacBook, isn't super high spec, so running those programs probably would tax it a good bit, and those wouldn't run super great. I actually just use iMovie for quick cuts, and they have a couple good looking text things and all of that, but other than that, that's what I use. Obviously, you can't do a ton of actual color grading in iMovie. You have like contrast and saturation, and that's basically it. So you can get like some super basic tones, but as far as adding a nice fade, actually playing with the colors and making sure you get the look you want, there's not a ton you can do in iMovie. So I actually do some photography on the side, so I'm super familiar with Lightroom and had no clue you could actually bring a video file in there and make it look like you want it to. So I tried it out and was actually blown away by the results you could get and was kind of like super pumped that I didn't have to go buy Premiere Pro or a brand new MacBook Pro or something like that just to be able to grade footage the way I wanted to. Another thing to note is that I'm by no means like a video expert or a color grading expert or anything like that. I've done a little bit of photography and that kind of thing over the years and have built my eye, or I guess what I like things to look like, but this is just kind of my fix for getting these to look good on video. So we're not gonna actually go a ton into how I actually grade or like colors that I pull out or anything like that, but just looking at how to make Lightroom work for video grading. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into Lightroom, and we're gonna import this like we would any other photo that we would normally bring in. You can kind of see a project that I've already completed up here, but I actually shot a video earlier today that I need to grade. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll go ahead and hit import, and let's look where it lives. I forgot what I named it. Yep, just the songs for today. So this is actually gonna be a few different clips, so let's just bring one in. Let's bring this one in. Make sure it's checked up here, uncheck the other two. We'll import that. And let's go find it down here. Now what we're gonna do, obviously this is the library tab. So if you're familiar with Lightroom, this is kind of where you can see everything that's in here. And then you would come over to develop to actually make the adjustments and all of that. So we can see if we select this video and come over and hit develop, video is not supported in develop, of course. So that's where it starts to make sense, right? This is a photo editing software, not video. So let's come back to library. Let's double click this, open it up. And let's go to a frame that you feel well represents the whole video. So, you know, if I've got some skin tones in here that I want to make sure aren't weird, like we can see my hands are still a little bit red there, but a different color all over. So I want to make sure, you know, if I'm pulling out like any pinks or purples or stuff like that, I usually do that to create kind of a cleaner looking image to make sure that those colors aren't in there, but we want to make sure the frame that we're picking is a good representation of the grade that we're going for. So this hack works best with kind of still shots where you have basically nothing like new being introduced into the shot. So it works really well for kind of still shots like this where you're not moving the camera. It wouldn't be great, I don't think, for maybe like a vlog. Like if you started the vlog kind of showing some, you know, more static things and then introduce, you know, like people with skin tones and all of that. So make sure you've got like a still shot with like controlled things in the actual shot. So we're gonna capture a frame, which is gonna so what we're gonna do is turn this video, we're just gonna capture one of the frames. So keep in mind video is just a bunch of still shots strung together. This is shot at 30 frames per second. So we're gonna go grab a frame that we think well represents the video. So let's go down here. You've got this little window and a tiny little drop down next to it. Let's click that and hit capture frame. Now nothing's gonna pop up, but now we're going to double click back out of this, and now you can see that frame has been created as a photo. So what we can do then is we can go hit develop, and now we can actually use that photo in Lightroom. So again, this isn't going to be a video of how I grade as far as sliders and all of that, but let's go put on the preset that I've used before. And I've got guitar shot 1 just kind of changed. Now I'm probably going to mess with the greens a little bit just because I don't love how that looks. I was wearing a different color shirt in that previous video, but you can kind of see, you can toggle the backslash button on your keyboard, and that kind of gives you like a before and after. So you can see kind of what's going on. I'm pulling out some of those like pinks and purples and that kind of thing, but not enough to where, you know, things like my fingernails turn gray or, you know, completely desaturate. But you can see kind of I'm trying to keep it warm, but also kind of cool and clean as well. So we've got a little bit of exposure adjustment going on. It's well exposed to start, but I kind of want it to pop a little bit as far as video. So now what we would do, when you've got everything looking like you want it to, we come back over. Actually, we'll pull this up down here. So you've got these two files sitting here. So now once you've got everything looking like you want it to, let's go to the tab down here where it shows all the files in that current folder. And this is just the folder for what I shot today. And so now what we're going to do is, with the photo selected, not the video, we're going to hold Shift and then select the video as well. And then we're going to right click, or the 2-finger click on a Mac, go to Develop Settings, and we're going to hit Sync Settings. And so one thing that's limited here is, like, if I wanted to do any brush adjustments, or let's say I wanted like a corner or something of the image a little bit darker, you're not going to be able to bring those types of things over. But everything as far as your basic adjustments, color, obviously you've got kind of these parameters too. You can basically check what, you know, everything you want to do. Chromatic aberration is done automatically as well. So let's hit synchronize. And now let's go back over to library. Let's pull up our video. You can see it just, we watched it sync. And so now the whole video is going to have those settings. And so now to export this, we're going to come over to File. You'll export this like anything else. You'll find the folder you want to put it in, and you can kind of see down here, it's not exporting as a photo, it's exporting as the entire video. So what this is actually doing is taking all of the frames, all 30 frames per second that this is shot at, and exporting those as individual frames, so it's coming across as a video. But what it's doing is, instead of just saying, hey, for all of these videos, let's pull out these colors, blah, 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 you're taking that one frame and then applying those settings to every single other frame. So this just works super well for me and allows me to actually get the look that I want without using, you know, one of the big video editing softwares. So you would export that as a normal video, and then I just bring the finished and graded video footage into iMovie, make the cuts I need, export that, and I'm good to go. So, but I hope this helped. If y'all have got any questions, just let me know below. This is kind of a lifesaver for me as far as getting something that's workable, and definitely light years beyond just using the 2 sliders you have in iMovie to get something that looks good. So if this helped, or if you've got questions, again, let me know. But we will see you guys next time.